I'm going to show you a very quick filter in Photoshop that will give you a nice polished end result. So first in Lightroom, make all of your adjustments with your light, your contrast, exposure. Remember that the point curve can be really helpful in adjusting your contrast. Bring the highlights up a tad, the darker areas or shadows down a bit so you have a slight S. Make sure that you are correcting your white balance. I like to do custom, get that eyedropper, find a neutral gray. I've already done all the adjustments here. So what comes next is to take this over to Photoshop. Find those three dots, edit in Photoshop, and it's going to kick us over there. All right, here's my image. So I told you, I think, that I like to use, if you go to the magnifying glass, the zoom tool, if you fit it to your screen with that little button here, you can see the whole thing as big as it can possibly go. It's kind of helpful. First thing we have to do is we need to make a copy of this layer here. The easiest way is Command J. Command and the letter J on the keyboard is a shortcut I like to use. We'll use that frequently when we're doing things in Photoshop. So memorize it. Command J makes a copy. So you can see I have two of the same thing now. So on this first layer, this next layer that I made, says layer 1, we're going to apply the filter. Up here to the filter tab, down to blur, and over to the Gaussian blur. You'll see this box pop up. If I move this little slider here, my photo is already, maybe this isn't the best one because it's already a little blurry in the background there. But you can see if I move the slider over what it does to my whole image. Makes it really blurry, and we don't want it to be really blurry. What we're using this filter for is to kind of soften everything. So just using 0.5 pixels is really where we want to be. You can use that slider. You can type in here either way. 0.5. Click OK. There's lots of functions for the Gaussian blur. This is just one way to use it. We'll go over some other ways later in the course. So it didn't look like it really did anything quite yet because we have to do a couple other things. Excuse me. If we come over here to our layers palette and then up to what you'll see it says normal. This is our blending modes. This is a drop down, and if you scroll through, you will see all these different ways that those two layers could be blended together. So you can go ahead and try it out, hover over them, and you'll see all the different ways you can blend layers together. For our purposes, we're looking for soft light, which is here. So I'm going to click on that. And now you can see kind of a big difference. It looks like a little harsh, in my opinion, very harsh. We don't want it to be this extreme. So what we're going to do is come right next to our blending modes. You'll find opacity. And the opacity is how transparent or see-through the layers are. So remember, this layer is sitting on top of this layer. So we're going to turn this down. You can start at 50%. Sometimes works. I typically go to about 30 or 40%. Is kind of where I land most of the time. So if I click this little eye on and off to see it and not see it, that's before applying the filter. That's afterwards. So it's subtle. We're not doing anything drastic. We're not changing how it looks. We're just put one layer on top of another. If I turn this one off and on, you can see maybe better of what you did. You put this on top of your original image. The same image, just layered on top. So you get a little bit of contrast. You have it softened a little bit with that filter. Have a nice polished image there. And that is all there is to it. So please, moving forward, apply this to the photos that you